Okay, testing, testing, testing. That seems to be working all right. So, hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to DCS World 1.5. Thank you very much for your patience and for waiting for me there. It takes a lot longer than you would expect to eat a pizza. Today we're going to be taking a little flight in the L39C, going to be starting in Kutaisi and making our way out west to the coast. And then the plan is to travel south along the coast to Batumi, do a touch and go there, fly across to Senaki, do a touch and go there, and then return to Kutaisi. So, without further ado, let's get the mission loaded up. Also, I'm flying with Starway's nice updated textures, so you should find that the terrain is looking a bit nicer than usual. Okay, just going to choose my L39. And here we go. So, we're on the west... Oh, let me just turn on my track IR. There we go. We're on the western ramp at Kutaisi. It's around about, what? Is it 7 o'clock? Yeah, it's 7 o'clock just now. And we are ready to have a nice little flight. So, I'm just going to go through the standard startup. I'm just going to remove my pilot for now. Fire up everything. I love the sounds and the modelling of the L39, actually. It looks really nice. Pop in the wheel chocks to start with.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Oh, wrong button.
Copy. Chief, place the wheel chocks.
Yes. Okay, there we go. So, ready for engine start.
Wheel chocks are now removed. Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
Okay. So, turbine starter is running. Let's go ahead and hit the starter valve for the engine. That's us up to 20%. Advance the throttle. Watch for light. There we go. We have ignition. And wait for that to stabilise. Okay, that's the engine stabilised, and let's get everything powered up. Just going to close my canopy, lock, and turn on the air conditioning. Generators, inverters, gyros, radio, wing tanks, and everything else. Oh, and turn on my flight recorder. And nav lights and taxi lights. It's all looking pretty good. Going to wait for the radar altimeter to go through its self-test. Set flaps to takeoff setting. Oh, and we should program our ADF as well. So let's get the map out and take a little look at our route for today. So we're starting off here at Kutaisi. I'm going to program actually one of my receivers for Kutaisi's outer marker, which is 477, and I'll program in No, that's Cobbletti. I'm in the wrong place. Batumi. So we want 430 for Batumi. So it's 477 for Kutaisi and 433 for Batumi. So 477. Just pop that on just now, and our needle moves. And I said 433 for this one. Let's just flip receivers. Make sure I've got a signal. Not really much of a signal, but that's okay. We're the wrong side of the mountains right now. That's kind of to be expected. And what's this? Dangerous altitude? Oh, right, that's fine. We were expecting that. Let's reset the radar altimeter. That's looking fine. Okay, so I think we are ready to taxi. Perfect. Okay, so let's get those wheel chocks removed.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Before I make a fool of myself.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now removed.
Excellent. Okie dokie. So, let's make our way to the runway. I've got a full fuel load, so that should give us more than enough to manage this flight. Trim is set for takeoff, that's good. Nice day for a flight. Okay, and as I'm approaching the runway, I'm going to set my nav lights to flash, turn on the takeoff and landing lights. Grab the center line. Let it roll forward a bit so my nose wheel's all aligned. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. I'll do it. Okay, so pitot heat comes on. Everything else is set, I believe. I'm going to pop on the cockpit lights on a low intensity because I think we're kind of later in the day, so it's going to start getting dark soonish. Right, that's Batumi that I've got on my ADF just now. We don't need that. We'll tune across to... sorry, that's Kutaisi that I had. I'm now tuning to Batumi. We're not picking it up yet, but we will a little bit later. Let's just equalise the hydraulic pressures. It's looking good. Okay, so ready to rumble. Let's, on the wheel brakes, run her up to about 80%. Okay, engine stable, full power, off the brakes, and let's roll. And try and maintain the centre line. Okay, 200 kph, let's rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Okay, 100 meters, let's go flaps up. Okay, and we're going to make a right circuit and then we're going to climb out on the downwind. Okay, so turning right now. Okay, I'm going to make my turn onto the downwind now. Okay, rolling out on downwind, going to go climb power. There we go, about there. And let's just pitch to maintain 400 kph. And we're going to make an initial climb to 2,000 meters, should be just fine. No, maybe 3, let's see how it goes. I'll just trim it out, so it sort of holds that itself almost. And as we're climbing out, I'm going to go landing lights off and navigation lights to not flashing. Still not picking up a signal from Batumi as yet, but I imagine that as we get closer to the coast and I've got some altitude, that'll start pointing. It's a lovely day here in Georgia. Oh, sort of flying with the sun in our eyes there. Okay, just passing 2,000. Yeah, I'll continue up to 3. We'll get a better view up here. I'll turn on the audio for the ADF as well, so we'll know once we've picked it up. Oh, let's turn that down. Oh, okay. There's no volume control for that. Let's just leave that off then. Is it maybe on... is that a volume control there on the arc itself? Yes, that's the volume knob. Okay, so that's more like it. Let's see if we pick that up at altitude. And that's us just approaching 3,000 now. So, level out, reduce to cruising power, and trimmer out. So I guess Batumi should be somewhere over there. Perhaps as we pass around the corner of the mountains there, we will get a signal. And speed is climbing a bit, so I need to trim her down just to maintain the cruise. I always feel that I like the way that the L39 handles, but the trim always feels just a little bit digital. Every adjustment you make just seems to be slightly too much. I do like, in the real world I fly the Piper Warrior, and I do like its wheel-based trim. It's just so much easier to get it exactly where you want it. Same kind of setup as you have in a Cessna, I believe. Anyway, I know a lot of these modern aircraft have these little hat trimmers, so it's pretty common, but I can never get it just where I want it. That's probably just me. Well, it's sitting not too bad just now, actually. Okay, keep that nice and quiet so it's not bothering anyone. So we're just following the river here, out here to the coast. And it's a summery 20 degrees here in Georgia, so although the anti-ice is on automatic, I don't think we're going to be needing it for change. So have I got the... I'm starting to wonder if I have the correct channel. 430. Yeah, 430. I genuinely just don't have it. Oh, there was me just saying that we wouldn't be picking up any ice, and that's the anti-icing system just come on automatically. So I guess we are in icing conditions. Although, we are at just a little over 3,000 meters, so I guess that's not totally unexpected. Okay, let's make a gentle left just now, just to bring us along the coast. These new textures are very nice. Nice work, Starway. Nice work. And that's the anti-ice. Yeah, de-icing system's on, so there we go. Just on cue, just after I say it won't come on today. Okay, we'll roll it out here. And we'll make another left. So we're flying along the coast. Well, I'm very surprised indeed that we're still not picking up Batumi's ADF, so I think something's wrong with this, but anyway. I bet if we switch to Kutaisi, we'll get Kutaisi straight away. Yep, there we go. So that's Kutaisi. Why are we not getting Batumi? Why Batumi, why? Oh, it doesn't list NDBs, actually. Okay. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So it might be the case that actually that doesn't work. So let's just turn off that audio rather than continuing to torture ourselves with that. Yeah, we're not getting anything off of that at all. Oh well, luckily I know where Batumi is. I can actually see it from here. So we will just take this visual. Okay, so we're passing the disused airfield there. If I check my map. Yeah. So we've passed Kobuleti. We're basically... Yeah, I can see Batumi from here. Making a good course for that. So let's just deviate right a little bit. We'll come in from the sea and make a nice crosswind landing. I think the wind is coming from the north today, but it's only 1 meter per second, so it's probably going to be just about unnoticeable. So let's just see, what's our distance out here? Okay, 25 kilometers to go. Fair enough. I'll run just a little bit further in and then I'll start my descent. I'll do an idle descent down to the airfield. I'm going to enter one right hand circuit and then I'll do a touch and go. Actually, what I will do is I will join... Yeah, actually, I'm not going to fly a circuit. I will join dead side for the downwind. Do a right-hand downwind after joining dead side. Okay, so I'm going to begin my idle descent now. So I'm just going to throttle back, allow the speed to bleed off. I'm going to maintain altitude until the speed comes down. And I'm looking to descend at about 300 kph. That feels like a nice safe speed to descend at. Because I'll pull a bit of air brake just now because it's taking too long to slow down. Trim it for the new airspeed. Okay, that's us down to 300 kph. I'm actually going to keep the air brakes out, and I'm just going to pitch to maintain 300. Yeah, Batumi's just under the nose now. So I'll just let that altitude come down. Yeah, I'm a bit too close. I began this whole process a bit too close in, so I'm going to make a left-hand orbit. Just going to do a 360 basically as I descend. Well, that's the anti-ice come off. Must be low enough now that it's not too cold out there. That's us over the city of Batumi itself, actually, as we're doing our little spiral descent. You can see some ships in the harbour. Just past 2,000 metres. For circuit height, we want to be down at about 400 metres. So I'll just continue to bleed off this altitude. I've had this air brake out the whole way down, so I definitely misjudged this. But hey, that's alright. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you correct them and learn from them. So I continue to come down, that's me just approaching 1,000. I'm going to turn to join dead side now. Okay, I'm going to go landing light on, flashing nav lights on, and continue on my way down. Okay, 800 metres. This is almost at circuit height now. Okay, so just the other side of this river opening is pretty much downwind. So I'm going to stop my descent here, I'm going to pull in the air brakes and begin my right turn onto the downwind. Throttle up just a little bit, going to go gear down. Going to go first stage of flaps. Feed in a bit more throttle. Trim her out. That's more like it. Okay, so flying the downwind. I think I'll do quite a short final on this one because we're positioned quite nicely. Speed and altitude are all just where they should be. So I'm going to turn, let's turn base now. Okay, that's me on base. Need a bit more trim. Okay, that's looking alright. I'm going to go begin my turn on to final now. And I'm going to allow it to start to descend. I'll drop the throttle a little bit, let the nose come down. I'm going to go final stage of flap now. There we go. And now we're going to pitch to maintain 200 kph and come down the glide slope. Maybe a touch less throttle. There we go, about there maybe. And get the centre line. which is about there. Okay, that's not too bad. All lined up. Okay, we're just about on the glide slope now. Throttle up just a touch to arrest my descent. Oh, I'm a little bit off centre. Throttle up. And flare. Idle. And just let it touch down nice and gently. Okay, that's not too bad. Bring the nose down soft, 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 and full power. And take off flap. That's the thing, the spool time is so long on this engine, touch and goes can be a little bit hairy if you don't get it on the ground at the right point. There we go, rotate. We're airborne. Positive rate. Gear comes up. Need to adjust that trim quite a bit. There we go. Okay, past 100 meters. Flaps come in. The speed come up. And then we'll go for best climb. I'm going to make a right hand circuit and then we'll depart on base. There we go, that's not too bad. Let's turn. Now we'll pitch to maintain 400. Excellent, I'm just going to make a tighter turn than normal just to avoid these hills. Let's bring it right round onto base now. Okay, there we go. I'm going to roll it out here and continue my climb. Alrighty, that wasn't too bad actually. I'm quite happy with that touch and go. That was fairly professional. So we're going to climb back up to 3,000 meters and fly north up the coast again, and our next stop is going to be Senaki. Now, while I'm climbing out, let's see, what is Senaki's... Oops, not there. Here. Senaki's NDB is on 688 or 335. Let's just grab 335 because that's nice and close to what we already have tuned. Yep, got a signal on that. Perfect. Oh. Aircraft's all over the place while I'm doing that. Let's reduce power to climb. And pitch to maintain 400. That's us passing 2,000 meters. Let's begin our right hand turn. I don't know why the Batumi ADF wasn't working. Maybe that's a bug or maybe that's intentional, I don't know. There's an aircraft up there. Okay, I'm going to fly direct Senaki. Yep, that's looking good. And continue my climb. That's about 2,500. Into the cloud again. Okay, gonna go landing light off and nav lights to constant on. And let's level out. And set cruise power. And get my trim right. It's always the struggle. And the speed should just creep up now. Okay, and as per my radio compass, I'm flying direct to Senaki. And what's the time there? In-game time, we're showing, what's that? 7:35 about? Yeah, about 7:35 PM. So we still have sunlight for a while yet. And fuel state is looking pretty good as well. What's that? I always forget, is it in hundreds of kilos in this aircraft? Yeah, hundreds of kilos. So we're at 600 kilos of fuel. That's more than enough for this. Actually, I still have fuel in the wingtip tanks, so we're really doing rather well. Yeah, like I said before, the struggle in this aircraft is the trim. I can just never get it just where I want. I really could do with a trim wheel. But hey, that's probably just my own ineptitude, as opposed to any failing with the aircraft itself. Shame we don't have any RSBN here in Georgia. I quite like mucking about with those systems. And PRMG, of course. So we're going to do the same once we get to Senaki. We're going to do a little touch and go, and then continue back on to Kutaisi. I'm going to fly a circuit at Kutaisi. Might even do one touch and go there before doing a final full stop landing. Let's just pass the disused airfield again. Just maintain my course for Senaki. Let's take a look at the map. We far away? Yeah, not massively actually. What's the distance? Distance to go, looking about 44 kilometers. Okay, that's fine. So it should be pretty much off the nose over there somewhere. But it's probably just underneath that cloud there. Oh, and there's our anti-ice warning coming on again, or ice warning in actual fact. So, as I've proven that I descended too late last time, let's make our descent on this occasion once we reach 30 kilometers to go. Which is actually about now, so let's wait a moment or so and then we'll begin an idle descent once more. Perhaps as we pass out the other side of this cloud. Of course, this is very, very bad, flying into cloud while under VFR conditions and without having any traffic avoidance service, but hey, you know, we're in the simulator. Such things do not matter to us. Right, the airfield should be somewhere out there. But I still don't see it yet. Oh yeah, no I do, that's it. So yeah, it's basically dead ahead. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so let's begin our descent. We're going to go idle power, maintain our attitude, wait for the speed to come down, and then we shall descend. Yep, there we go. Airfield in sight. Gonna need the air brake again. Aircraft doesn't really like to slow down very much. I guess we're not really carrying any payload, so it's yeah, aerodynamically very clean right now. Get the pitch the pitch trim adjusted. Okay, that's us down at about 300 kph. Let's pitch to maintain and start our descent. Gonna just come round to the right a little bit. There we go. That should do it nicely. I'm just going to do a straight in approach here at Senaki. Not going to bother joining the circuit. Okay, icing conditions have subsided. Need to adjust the trim a little bit. There we go. So I wonder, have I calculated this correctly this time? This is passing 2,000 meters. I kind of feel like we're probably a little bit too close in. But anyway, let's see what happens. I'll drop the gear actually. That should allow us to increase our rate of descent. Okay, 3 green, gears down, and locked. Oh yeah, excellent. It does have quite a bit of an effect. That's good. Get that rate of descent up. And of course we'd always cross the centre line and then come back, you know, do a kind of almost an S-turn. That will give us a bit more room. Need some pitch trim actually with the gear down. So that's us, we're just approaching centre line now. I'll begin my turn late, and that should give us just a touch more space. Okay, let's go landing light on. Flashing nav lights, oops, flashing nav lights on. Yeah, so we're past the centre line, so we'll just snake across. That's us past 1,000 meters. Yeah, actually we might not be too bad on this. I'm going to come back round for the centre line. I'm going to go 1 stage of flap. No, I'm not slow enough. It's a nice feature in this aircraft actually. It doesn't allow you to damage the flaps. I think also if you already have them out and you overspeed, they come in automatically. Nice feature for a training aircraft. Okay, go 1 stage of flaps now. That's outer marker. Okay, 500 meters, that's not too bad. I'm going to keep the air brake out. I'm going to go full flaps. I'm going to retrim. Oh, there we go. We can do quite an extreme rate of descent now. Passing 300 meters. Okay, going to bring in the air brakes now. Throttle up just a touch. With the spool time in this engine, you don't really want to be descending on idle. Okay, that's not too bad. We've arrested our rate of descent. Bring the power down a little. Okay, gently flare. Hold it. Idle throttle. And bring her down nice and gentle. That's not bad. Pretty close to the centre line too. Okay. Take off flaps and full power. Hold the centre line. Hope that we have enough runway. Okay, rotate. And we're up. Positive rate. Gear comes up. Get that trim under control. Right, we'll let the speed come up again. Now this time we're not going to do as much of a climb. I'm only going to go to 1,000 meters because Kutaisi is not that far from Senaki, so there's no need for us to grab too much height on this one. Let's get those flaps in and let the speed come up. Okay, so let's flip receivers back over to, is that Kutaisi? 570? I don't think so. I don't think that's right at all. Shouldn't that be 477? There we go. That's it. Needle's coming around now. Okay, we're at 500 meters. Let's continue that climb. We're at 400 kph. We'll pitch to maintain until we get to 1000. And I'm going to make a right turn so that we're coming in line with the centre line of the runway. That was pretty good actually. I'm quite happy with that one as well. There we are, approaching 1000. Let's bring the power back. And actually I'm just going to throttle to maintain 400 kph now because we don't really want to be going much faster than that. There we go. That should do it. So airfield should be over here. And it is. Yep, I've got the airfield in sight. So let's maintain around about this speed and this altitude. I'm just going to leave the flashing nav lights and the landing light on this occasion because we're fairly low and close into the airfield. Get the trim right. So, at Kutaisi here, I'm going to do a touch and go, fly a single circuit and then do a landing. Yep, that's the airfield in sight, so I'm going to just wait for runway alignment and then make my turn. Make a straight in approach. I don't understand why my fuel gauge is still sitting at 600 kilos, but anyway, it feels like it's been sitting there for quite a long time, and I'm definitely, I would imagine that I'm burning fuel, so I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, almost on centre line. I'm going to begin an idle descent again. Okay, just letting the speed bleed off to 300 kph, and then I will pitch to maintain and begin my descent. It's working quite nicely. I'll pop out one stage of flap just to help me maintain my approach nice and steady. Okay, we're quite nicely established there actually, so let's go gear down. Okay, 3 green and the gear is locked. Let's get that trimmed out. Okay, let's go full flap and bring the throttle up. Okay, and that's arresting our rate of descent nicely, just passing 500 meters. I've done this is quite a long approach that I've flown on this one, but anyway. Oh, what's this? Oh, wingtip tanks. Oh, okay, I've emptied those at last. Maybe that's why the gauge wasn't moving. Right, so wingtip pumps off. So actually, you get a lot of fuel in those wingtip tanks. I think, am I right in recalling that it's 100 litres each, which is pretty extreme. It's basically a car fuel tank on each wingtip. Let's just bring that throttle down a touch. Okay, 350 meters, that feels just about right actually. Yeah, it feels just about right. This is where I would normally be turning base if I was flying a circuit, so that's nice. Maybe just a touch of throttle. Okay, 300 meters. Approach is pretty stable. Runway is clear. I should get the outer marker any moment now. Let's just hunt for that centre line. Okay, 150 meters. Come on, where's my marker? I feel like I'm a touch high. Well, that's the inner marker, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to throttle back a bit and increase my rate of descent. Okay, that's not too bad. Just creeping back on the throttle, flare, keep the wings level, throttle back to idle, nice and gentle, on the deck, nose wheel down, okay, take off flaps and full power. And we'll go round one last time. Okay, rotate. Airborne, positive rate, gear comes up. And gear is up. Okay, passing 100 meters. Oh, let's get this trim under control. Passing 100 meters and flaps up. And we're going to continue the climb to 400 meters. Okay, and there we go, that's 400 meters. I actually just blew right past it. Oh, right. I triggered a low fuel warning because I pitched so violently. I probably shouldn't have done that. Let's throttle to maintain about 350, and let's make my right turn. I didn't realise that you could do that. Pulled so hard that I made the fuel warning come on. Okay, I'll bleed off a little bit of height in this turn as well because I'm getting a little too high. Okay, I'm just going to continue my turn actually right onto downwind. Okay, and that's me downwind on runway 08 to land. So, I hope you've all enjoyed this flight so far. Just a nice little hop around some different airfields in Georgia. I've certainly enjoyed it. You know, it's DCS World is not always about blasting things, although that is a lot of fun. Sometimes it's nice just to take a leisurely flight, to practice your circuit flying, to do a bit of touch and go. Actually, one of the recent times I was flying with Dot Chuckles in the Mirage, he was demonstrating the run-in and brake style landings to me. That was a lot of fun. Thanks to his expert tuition, actually, I even managed to complete one without crashing, which was good. If anyone who's seen my C101 video will know that, yes, I'm not always necessarily very good at that particular manoeuvre. I did destroy a C101 in the making of that particular video. It's easy done. I think the thing is, with these training aircraft, they often just don't have the power to get you out of trouble. So if you pull some sort of crazy low speed, high angle of attack manoeuvre and it goes wrong, you really don't have anything to save yourself with. Whereas at least in the Mirage, you can just go burners on and yeah, save yourself if you have to. Okay, I'm going to let the speed bleed off a little bit now. Going to begin my turn onto base, and once the speed is right, I'm going to pop out a stage of flap. There we go. Oops, one stage flap. I'll throttle up a little bit. Okay, that's us turned base. Let's retrim the aircraft. Let's go gear down. It's quite a short final we're going to fly, but that's okay. Okay, final stage flap. Let's just throttle up. Okay, begin my turn on to final now. Probably just a touch early, but that's okay. I'll just control it with our rollout. Throttle back a touch. 300 meters, that feels not too bad actually. Okay, so final runway 08 to land. Okay, so we've got 3 green, we've got full flaps, everything's looking pretty good, fully established. Okay, this feels not too bad. Actually, for some reason at Kutaisi I'm feeling that crosswind more than anywhere else. I can feel this very, very slight wind from the left. Anyway, we'll get her down. There we go, that's my marker. Maybe just a touch low, given when that's gone off, but that's okay. I can just stretch that out a little. Start bringing the throttle down. Okay, flare it, throttle to idle, bring it down nice and gentle. And that's it, we're on the ground. Pop out that air brake. And this time we're going to stop. Okay, let's bring those flaps in. Let's look for my exit, if I can remember where it is. Oh yeah, that's it coming up now. What are these vehicles doing here? Oh, that's just the that's the runway lights. I always forget that the Russian airfields have them as little vehicles. Okay, let's get on the brakes, get the aircraft into a taxiing speed, or down to a taxiing speed. And turn off. And that's us clear of the runway. Okay. So, taxiing lights. We'll go steady nav lights. I'll turn off the air conditioning. And open the canopy. Why not, eh? Okie dokie, so I'm just going to taxi to the north ramp. I'm not going to taxi all the way back to the west ramp where I started. I wasn't going to make that turn there. I was a bit too enthusiastic with the throttle. Well, let's get this thing turned. There we go, that's more like it. There we go. It's very easy with this aircraft to be a little bit too enthusiastic on the throttle when you're trying to taxi. And the fuel gauge is going down now, so there must be some kind of peculiarity with the way that the wingtip tanks feed the rest of the fuel system. I'm sure if I read the manual I'll figure that out. I wonder if maybe it drains down to 600 kilos and then starts drawing from the wingtip tanks. You know, maybe they're kind of topping up something. Okie dokie, here we are, north ramp. So let's take this parking here. This is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But there we are. I did not too badly. Just wait for the engine to throttle back to idle. Oh, these spool times. Okay, so off the handbrake and on with the parking brake. That's good. Let's get the ground crew to pop the chocks in.
Chief, place the wheel chocks.
I'll start shutting down unnecessary systems.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
Perfect. Let's pop out the parking brake. I should have already turned off the pitot heaters, silly me. That's the flight data recorder off. My arc is already turned off. Turn off the nav lights just now. Okay, SDU, de-icing, RSBN, map RV, radio. Gyros can go off. Inverters and generators can go off. Let's pull throttle to cut off. And wait for that to spool down. And we're going to hear that glorious sound any moment now. But anyway, engine master off, battery off. Oh, and I'll turn off the cockpit lights, put them back the way they were. Oh, I love that sound. Fan blades just tinkling away as the engine spools down. So, a successful flight. I rather enjoyed that. I hope you all did too. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. But yeah, I do like the L39. It's very, very nicely modelled aircraft. Hopefully the C101 and the Hawk will reach similar standards at some point in the near future. So, I hope you all enjoyed that. And I guess I'll see you next time. Ta-ta.